Welcome to the Gridiron Unfiltered podcast, powered by Recon Sports. I'm your host, Danny Davis, and today's guest is someone whose impact reaches far beyond the field. He's the Assistant Director of Player Evolve at the University of Tennessee Football, a role that encompasses leadership, engagement, life skills, and career development. Travis Taylor, welcome to the show.
Daniel, thank you for having me on, man. I'm excited to be a part of this. It's been a pleasure working with you the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. So I think this is overdue.
Absolutely. So Tennessee had multiple players drafted this year, both and multiple players signed after the draft. While a lot of fans know the impact that coaches have on the field, maybe strength and conditioning coaches have, a little bit of nutrition, they don't really realize the impact that people are having, like yourself, behind the scenes and maybe preparing those players for not just the game, but the game after football. Talk to me a little bit about your role there at Tennessee and what your day-to-day looks like and what you're ultimately trying to accomplish.
For sure, man. So again, like you're right. A lot of times, individuals just see the product that gets on the field on Saturday in this game. And I think our head football coach, Josh Heupel, has done an amazing job with assembling a staff that kind of combats that and offers an experience that's like no other, right? So from a player engagement standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, from an evolved standpoint, we're impacting those guys in ways that is a little bit different, very organic, very intimate, that we're attacking those guys. And it gives me the ability to help these guys develop over the course of their tenure here. Tenures look different now, right? It could be 1 year, it could be 2, it could be 3 years. So you got to be able to, evolve with that in the landscape of football with that. But from that standpoint, we're helping these guys navigate the process. And what do I mean by navigate the process? We're helping these guys navigate college campus, the college world in general, and maximize their opportunity while being on campus. That's big for me. That's big for our department. That's big for what we do in player engagement. Also, I'm helping these guys along the way from a leadership standpoint. Coach is really, really big on leadership. So you build champions by building leadership and developing those guys from a leadership standpoint, whether that's with classes, seminars, workshops, the engagement, the day-to-day engagement that we have established there kind of helps us out and sees it from that end as well. Me particularly, our director, Reggie Lane, he kind of oversees the program from that leadership standpoint, that class standpoint, that workshop standpoint. Me specifically, I deal directly with onboarding anybody that touches the Tennessee football program from a student athlete perspective. And that's where the relationships have been built. That's where Recon Sports has came in, maximized our ability to, maximize that opportunity with the guys. So onboarding them has really transformed and turned into the recruiting tool of retention. And that's what we're utilizing here at the University of Tennessee, trying to give our student athletes an experience while they walk through the door that carries on through their tenure while they're inside of the building as well. It has to mirror the same thing throughout the program every step of the way now, because we're just in a new era of college athletics. These guys can see it. They can see it early on if it's fake, if it's not authentic, right?
So where do you think what really catalyzed that change? When did this start? Was it like it when you were playing? When did you see this change happen?
Dang, I wish it was like, I wish I had some of the opportunities that these guys know. Everybody knows it changed with NIL. It changed with the transfer portal. The game shifted. A lot of people like the way the game is shifted. A lot of people have other things the way the game is shifted. My perspective, and I think our staff's perspective, how we've been able to excel during this period is because we've adapted to the changes and put policies and procedures and structure around in environments that were lacking, maybe not needed before, that is needed now. So yeah, it has changed the landscape. You have to recruit the student athlete from a standpoint of not just ball anymore, not just what's going on the field. Obviously, NIL is involved as well, right? But it's about that total holistic experience. It's about when they walk through those doors, and you'll hear me say this a lot. Daniel, you've heard me say this term a lot. Your program has to exemplify characteristics that possess longevity. No more are the days to where you can, sell something, get them there. Oh, it's totally different. You know what I mean? It has to mirror it every step of the way.
Yeah, I had a guy named Coach Vint talk come on here last week, and we were talking about onboarding customers for software packages and products. And we were thinking about it. It was like, this is the same. Now you take this 14-day onboarding that's so important in the software world. Now that's the world of college football, where they come in those first 14 days, that onboarding process.
That'll make or break your team.
Exactly. And for you to be able to capture that data is, a lot of teams just are just pushing them through, the line, tagging a number on them, pushing them through the herd. Those days are over.
Those days are over with. You'll lose ball games like that. You'll lose your program like that. You just mentioned a program, a software program having a 14-day onboarding process, right? That's the model. That's the type of mindset that we've established, that I try to drive from a player engagement standpoint. When these guys walk through the door, the onboarding process has to be structured and has to be in depth to where these guys are getting something from it. You're exposing them to what they actually can maximize if they buy totally into the program. And it gives a guy a chance, like myself. I look back, I really take it for myself when I was a student athlete some years ago. And my parents moved me into the dorm. They dropped me off, goodbye. And the next day I was at football practice. And I had coaches yelling at me. I had people saying, do this and do that. And I'm just like, man, where's the transition period? You have to transition guys into a program. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. You have to have a structure and an introduction to your program as an organization so that people can hit the ground running. That's the only thing that it's for. The college football, the era goes so fast now, and there's not many gaps as it was when I played. Like, you had your season, of course you had winter workouts, but it was just workouts. It was a longer period from football to football, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. This thing is year round now. So when you're bringing these guys into your facility, when you're bringing these guys into your organization, you have to have a process and structure that gets them caught up from an idea and mental standpoint to where the team is. Now, I'm not saying you're going to develop them in that time period to get to where they are, but policies and procedures, knowing the do's and don'ts, the areas, what goes on, what's our process of practice, how do we handle things on campus, what's the relations on campus, how do you navigate this? That stuff got to be there. It has to be drilled in them. They have to have been exposed to it because the game is so fast now. They got to focus on school and the sport. So you want to make sure they're prepared to be the most successful they can be in your organization.
Mm-hmm. And while they're learning a lot of information about the processes and procedures of the organization, one of my favorite things that you do is now taking that as an opportunity to learn about them, learn about that student athlete, his affirmations, who's his champion, where he wants to be in 5 years,
yes,
what he wants to do after football. So you are now taking in all that information to now coach him at a whole new level.
When we sat down and developed this thing, and we kind of were walking through the process of how can we maximize what I do and what you do and the program do to help these student athletes be successful, you're right. So it gives me, just as well as that onboarding process is acclimating them, I'm acclimating myself to this student athlete as well. Like you were saying, the whys, the affirmations, the things, the passions, the goals. Where do you want to be? What do you want to get out of this process? Because then that forges conversation. Then that forges an authentic relationship. Then that forges and gives me the platform to say, hey, you told me you want to do this. This doesn't look like the same thing what we're doing now. Let's correct this. It gives you structure to kind of groom your team, to kind of position these guys and develop them over the course of 3 to 4 years. And again, maximize their experience while they're there.
So for any leader out there, I think this is not only just a football thing, this is a leadership thing where you need to know who it is that you're leading. For anyone out there at any sport, any level, what are some of the questions that they should be asking the people that they're in charge of to get to know them better and to really understand who they are as a core person to now tailor their coaching to match their style?
Well, there's nothing really specific, but I can give you the idea and the structure. You got to be authentic. I mean, they can play football. The staff knows they can play football. That's why you recruited them. Let's take football out of the equation. Like we all know that every school in the nation knows these guys can play football. They're highly recruited. We have to get to know them as the person. We have to get to know them as the human being. And when you get to know the student athlete as the human being, and you take football away from it, and you're solely focusing on them as a person, holistically, that builds the retention. Holistically, that builds the engagement. Holistically, that maximizes their ability to be the best that they can be in your program. When I'm meeting with guys, when I'm meeting with all my freshmen, I want to know all my freshmen's passion and goals. And I want to know them on a first name basis. I just don't want to hear you say it. I want to actually have a conversation with you. Why is this your goal? Why is this your passion? Why is mom your champion? Why? And I need to know that so that when you're not doing things that a champion does, or when you need a little motivation, or when you're doing great, I know exactly who to funnel that back to in order to keep that relationship for retention and holistical development here.
That's right. That's right. And for the fans out there, listen, these questions, you don't have to overthink these questions.
No,
these are authentic human questions. And Travis and I have been working together for a couple of years now. And at first, they had these cognitive tests on the players that provide really good insight. And
right.
But you're looking at it, you got to like see it with an eye. You got to do some research. What is it talking about? Then you implemented this program, and we're looking at the answers to some of just these basic human questions. And we're both looking at it like, damn, I know who this person is just by looking at the answers to this question right here. And the simple questions.
That's it. I know exactly. Like, for instance, one of the questions I like to ask my guys is that, give me 3 of your weaknesses, give me 3 of your strengths, and give me some things that you don't take accountability for, that you've swept up under the rug for the past year. Again, that question is going to get, you may look at that question and just say, okay, you're just trying to figure out what they're good and what they're bad at. No, when you look at it and you peel the layers back, right, that question is going to give you how you need to approach that kid during their tenure here. Because the 3 to 4 years goes by so fast. I need to know your weaknesses because I need to know how to build you up. Okay. And I need to know how to build you up authentically, right? I need to know your strengths because at the same time, I'm big on weaknesses. I'm big on letting people operate in their strengths as well, because that's when they're the happiest. You want them to feel good. They got to feel good while they're on campus, right? They got to feel like they're a part of this thing. And then I need to know, and this is something that is hard to pull out of them sometime, but when that relationship is there, it gets real, real easy. I need to know what you like to sweep under the rug. I need to know what you don't take accountability on, because we're going to correct that and help you evolve and grow. That's why I don't want to call you out. I don't want to do it to put you in a situation to make you feel like, you're inferior or anything of that sort. But at the same time, this is more than just a college football experience. This is a life experience. And working with Daniel and working with Recon Sports and kind of developing these trackers and these gauges, like, I want to know how far away from home you are. I had a guy that was 1,500 miles away from home when he first got here. He was from the West Coast. When he first got here, he struggled getting to meetings on time. And we would record that, Daniel. We would have these conversations. We would record that. Hey, he was late on this day. He was late on that day. And everybody kind of looked at it as a stamp of, oh, he can't be on time. No, that's not it. When you peel back the layers, and his affirmations were his city, where he was from. His affirmations were his mom. His affirmations were his community. Guess what? He was away from that. He was 1,500 miles away from that, right? So we had to peel back the layers and start addressing this kid. So what we started doing is we started making sure and ensuring that a part of the community, his community, was in the building. And again, I don't have to get into specifics of what that was, but I made sure the community was in his building, and he felt like that this was a home away from home, whether that was FaceTimes with mom weekly. I built my relationship with mom a little bit more because I wanted to know however mom was feeling, that's how he was feeling. So those components, those key factors and things like that have helped kind of engage the player a little bit more and build leaders. And I think we're seeing direct results from it. From this past draft class a few weeks ago, those are some of the people that benefited from this program, from the implementations that we were doing from day one.
Wow. And it's so powerful that, because what you're trying to correct is him being on time, right? And if you were to handle him as a coach, like it's an effort issue, like he's just lazy, or maybe he lived down the street and he has bad influences from his high school days, like those conversations are completely different across the board.
all that. And you know what? Another thing that, again, this impacts all of us. But again, one of the triggers in there is your relationship, like your girlfriend. Do you have a girlfriend? Those things are pivotal. Do you have a significant other? Whatever that is, because again, I found it that guys that do have significant others that are away, and that they're going to struggle with transitioning early on. All right. If they were in a serious relationship with somebody that was for 3 years, that's now 500 miles away, I got to put extra attention on that guy these first 60 days. I have to, because I already know what he's going to go through, not only because of taking note on it, right? But I've taken some of my past experiences and put into this data and put into this machine as well. Nothing's new under the sun. We just repeating everything, right? It's just a new class coming in after a new class. So it's giving me the ability to now talk with that student athlete, bring the significant other in, let him know, him or her know what the schedule is. Hey, I've incorporated wives, and we've had players that have been married when they've transferred in. We've incorporated those wives into these statistics to let them know, hey, he has meetings every morning at 6:30. You're not just hearing from him, you're hearing it from me. At 8 a.m., he has to transition and do this. By 12, he needs to be here. We're saving relationships. Now she's at he does have a busy schedule, or he or she is like, oh, he does have a busy schedule. So it's more than just the football aspect of it and trying to get the guys to do what they need to do on the field. But it's also the aspect of helping them turn into men and be prepared for what's next in life, whether that's NFL, job, grad school, or whatever that may be.
Yeah, that's a great segue into our stat of the week. So there are over 1 million high school football players, over 73,000 NCAA football players, and the odds of a athlete making it to the NFL from high school to college to the NFL is 1.6%. 1.6% of football players will make it in the NFL. So what is that life like for the other 99%? What is it after they're done playing football? And that's what you guys are really focusing on and putting a good emphasis around that piece of the puzzle, not just performance on the field, but them as young men, as individuals that are going to one day hang up the cleats, one day hang up the shoulder pads, and are now in real life, now in the real world. And you and I have been talking about what we're building next and talking about player portfolios, player almost resumes, to where you want to be able to track when they come into the building, what do they want to do? Where do they see themselves in 5 years? Where do they like to hang out? And now you can put events, internships, mentorships in that area, doing what they want to do to help them prepare, not to go just sitting in 95 doing something they don't want to do when the football days are over.
Yes, no, you're exactly right. What we're working on now is the new player profile, something that can set these guys up for 5 to 10 years. So again, when a guy comes through the door, and I know that he's 500 miles away from home, I know that his affirmations are, being a leader of a team, wanting to be a starter, wanting to be all SEC. I know that his purpose is, to support his family and to make his community proud, right? I'm using that data that we're collecting, and we're creating a portfolio to not only identify this guy as being a team leader, but I'm trying to identify the next leading manager of a Fortune 500 company that's down in Atlanta that needs student athletes, that want student athletes because he's hungry. He has leadership skills. He's been trained. He has the ability to compete. He's resilient. Like, those are the things that I want to identify so that I can put together these portfolios that let you know who this player is. Yes, they're going to show all their athletic abilities and all their athletic highlights and things of that sort, but they're also going to show that they're great problem solvers. They're also going to show, these schematics are also going to show that they're great leaders on the field and off the field. They're going to display the tours that they've been, internships that they've been a part of, to show the experience outside. And they're also going to have small tidbits in there where you can hear these guys speak. You can actually see the brand that they are and see if it's the right fit for your organization. So creating that is going to now take our ability to help these guys figure out life after football to the next level. Okay, when you come in now, this player profile will start from day one. and we'll be taking note, and it'll be an ongoing live document. It'll be something that we continuously, me and my staff will continuously work on our own live document. And then we'll piece these things together with our partners and the people that we have inside of this program and a part of our Evolve segments to help place these guys and position these guys for life after football for success. Whether that's you have great leadership skills to your affirmations that we're capturing, or whether you've identified that in 5 years you want to be a business owner with 5 real estate properties. That's what I want to work on. That's why we ask those questions and we take those matrices, because I know that 99%. I was a part of that. You know what I mean? I wasn't a part of that 1%, right? So I had to figure out on the back end, what does this thing look like? And the passion comes from going through that and having to figure it out, and now looking at it from a lens of saying, wait a minute, I don't want any other student athlete to go through this. We can really, these guys are special. They just don't know how to exemplify it just yet. They'll get there, but they're so wrapped up in their sport right now and being asked to perform at a high level academically and athletically, right? We got to make sure that when those doors close and they walk across their stage and that president of that university is shaking their hand and giving them that degree and everybody's cheering for them, we got to make sure they're ready for that next day, because that's what life's asking. Life's asking you what's going on that next day. Everybody's going to be happy for you on that stage, but the next day life starts. That's what we got to be prepared for. That's why we're exposing these guys to these things, and we're trying to create these matrices. We're trying to create these data-driven analytics to push out and give us data that says, based off of prompts we put in, right? Hey, you know what? He'd be a great leadership role for this company, or these are the type of attributes that he brings to the table. Now I can show that to all my intern partners and say, hey, this is what you're getting out of my quarterback. Yes, he's a great quarterback on the field, but this is what you're getting for him to bring to your company. These goals align with your company goals. That's why we need to hire.
Wow. How do you deal with, from a coaching aspect, because you were part of that 99%, I was part of that 99%, but I was also, there was one point in time where I really thought I was going to be in the NFL one day. Like I wanted to do that. How do you maybe juggle the reality of the situation and still giving him a shot at that 1.5% to make it? How do you juggle those two things?
You have to holistically be bought in, and I encourage them from all efforts. Just as much as I encourage them with the life after football and preparing for life, we encourage them to be the best they can be on the field and to get that next chance. You have the talent. You're here for a reason. Let's expound on it and let's be the best that we can be. So a lot of our job still does reflect reiterating coaches' sentiments and helping these guys maximize their potential as well. So it's not more so of a juggle. It's more so of a balance. But at the same time, I understand reality, and we always give them reality. And I think that's one of the most unique things about our program and our head coach and how he structured this thing, is that he wants us to be real with everybody, right? So through that reality, we have structure and programming. We have the onboarding that's exposing you to campus and the resources and what's on campus and what these people job on campus do to help you be successful. We're walking you through the leadership segments. I'm bringing in former alumni that have businesses that are in career fields that are telling their stories as well, right? You got to get, it takes a village to deliver this message. I'm bringing in former players that have been successful in the NFL and that are successful in life as well. I got to give it to you both ways. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We can't hide nothing right here. Can't hide it from the kids, no way. So how you structure the thing out and what you bring around and what you surround around the program and what you kind of inject and put into them, that prepares for that easier conversation. Now it's easy for me to sit down and say, hey, you remember when Inky came in and talked about what out of this and out of that? Hey, this is what we're preparing for. I want you to go to the NFL because they give me tickets to the games too. No, I'm joking. But I want you to go to the NFL. But at the same time, NFL in my book stand for not for long. We don't have many Tom Brady's. You know, we don't have many guys out there that are having 10, 15 plus careers. Your Deion Sanders that played to 38 years of age. That's an anomaly. We got to get prepared for that back half. Even if you do go have a 5-year career in the NFL and it's great and you make a whole bunch of money, God willing, you're only 30 years old. You got 40, 50, 60 more years to live. What does that look like? Right? That money can be gone in 1 year. how we're preparing to create that generational wealth and carry it over through this programming, through this Recon Sports, how we're going to develop and create these portfolios. So now when life starts to get tough, you can go back and look at this portfolio and say, oh man, Trav told me to do. Oh, okay. That's why I can't keep no money. I ain't budgeting. You know what I mean? Just simple things like that. Or I got great skills and this job offer is asking for the same qualifications that I have. Let me apply. Let me call somebody to see if they know and can give me a reference. Things of that sort. It's a guide to success. We're not just creating football student athletes and creating guys. We're creating men that are going to potentially have families one day. And they're going to be the leaders of this nation one day. We got to prepare them, man. And they're coming from a field now where the way they're getting prepared looks different, because they have the ability to access things so fast with social media, but at the same time, that's good and bad. They still need guidance. They need structured guidance. And I think with the creation of those portfolios, that'll give them structured guidance to not only help them navigate the college process, man, but help them navigate life.
For sure. For sure. I want to zoom out a little bit, and that's going to bring us to this week's Sudden Change. This week's Sudden Change is brought to you by Niko Stones. Niko Stones just updated their site. They're looking better than ever with a new exclusive collection of hand-picked jewelry pieces made to be worn every day. Whether you're dressing up, dressing down, or somewhere in between, it all fits. Definitely worth checking out NikoStones.com. So when you talk about an organization, and we've been talking about you caring about the players, one of the things that I love about Tennessee is the organization cares about you, Travis Taylor. They care about putting the directors in a position to be successful, to do their jobs of coaching football. And I've seen a lot of schools handle this a different way, to where there's a lack of resources. And I've even heard one chief of staff say, hey, we pay our guys grunt wages. I don't really care how long it takes them to do this. I don't really care if we have a solution to give them better resources. What has it been like being a part of an organization that gives you resources, enables you to do your job? And from when you and I were working together, or before you and I were working together, you were stuck in Excel sheets, stuck in Google Sheets, trying to do all of this. And now seeing how you've been able to kind of just be free and now have more ideas and go have more conversations, what has that allowed you to do?
Man, and allowed me to do so much. And I'm not just saying that because I have on the tee. I'm not just saying that because I'm representing the brand, but University of Tennessee Athletics has been one of the best organizations that I've worked for my entire life, because they give you the autonomy to not only do your job, but evolve your job. And into what you were saying, utilizing the spreadsheets in Microsoft Excel. Well, when we went to administration and we talked about what this could be, they believed in it. And then they believe in it, and they give you the platform to utilize it and bring your ideas to the table. So it's been a pleasure working with an organization that allows you to do that, because it doesn't only allow for you to make the organization better, which is ultimately what everybody's trying to do, but it helps you personally grow as well and develop a new skill set, reach new skill sets to effectively help student athletes be successful. Let's not get this thing twisted. We are in the customer service-based industry, and the student athlete is the customer, right? So how we serve them on a daily basis and how we position them for success is what matters. And I think when you have a department, an athletic department like Tennessee, who believes in the evolution of student athletes, as you can see how we have stood the test of time with things, but we're always on the cutting edge of something new. We're always on the cutting edge of the latest sponsorship deals, marketing, and things, because we believe in the better being of the student athlete. So when it pertains to that, it's given me the full autonomy to just grow. I've grown so much working with you over the past 2 to 3 years with this program and developing it. But yeah, going from the spreadsheets, cycling through Excel, making sure it's saved on this thing, Drive, and making sure it's saved on that, to now taking that data and blowing it up and evolving it to now forge conversations with students to help them have a better experience, to grow them to heights that they may have not seen themselves. Unparalleled. Can't compare. What we're doing for student athletes here is second to none. I've seen guys come in and have one mindset, and after through programming and taking taking care of these guys and tracking these guys and then implementing those conversations and those needed workshops, I've seen guys go from 0 to 100 and transform completely. So just kudos to our whole entire athletic department and what they believe in, because they do give us the autonomy to kind of evolve and grow our student athletes from top to bottom.
That's huge. That huge. And indirectly, like you said, that improves you as a person, Travis Taylor as a person. You know, like you said, we've been working together for 2 years now, and I've been able to see now like that freedom of ideas that have been coming out of you. And it's like, you're not bogged down by, damn, I got to go figure this out on Google Sheets, or I got to go learn a software. It's like, no, it's a different approach.
We talk about it. Let's create it. I mean, let's make it happen. Again, I'm customer service driven. So I'm always trying to think about ways to make the customer experience better, which is our student athletes.
That's huge. That's huge. What do you think is around the corner now we've been talking, there's a lot of NIL money going on, a lot of, and the House Act, I think, is about to be into effect, where players are about to be paid more. For people that don't know, I hear it talked about a lot. It's not name, image, and likeness. That's not going anywhere. That's still a thing. But now they're getting paid from a whole new setup, a different pot. How's that going to change the game a little bit?
It's going to change the game drastically, if you had to ask me. And I know everybody has their own 2 cents about it. But when you look at it in the House, you can look at it from one standpoint and say, oh, it's going to be more opportunity for students. These guys are going to be getting compensated. I think rosters going down to 105. Everybody's going to be paid, this, that. But on the back end of it, if you want to look at it, it's also going to close doors for people as well. It's going to close a lot of doors, because now rosters are going to be taken down in numbers, right? Whatever that may be, 105, 110, you're still going to lose numbers. Some institutions relied on those additional walk-ons to kind of help fund their program and fund their budget, right? Boom. Now the transfer portal is going to be deadlier than ever, because now if I can only have 105 or how many ever on my roster, my process of recruiting, my process of analyzing talent is going to become even more strict now, because now I got to be accountable for every single spot, even more now, right? So when you look at it from that standpoint, it's going to require more demand from the student athlete. They're going to require more pressures from the student athlete more than ever. And it's going to have an effect on their mental health, right? Yes, that is true. That's why you have to maximize the opportunity. That's why the player portfolios, the tracking, and those things are going to be more pivotal than ever now, because now you're going to have to ensure not only that you're getting a great player, but you're getting somebody that's great for the locker room, that you're getting somebody that's potentially going to hang around and be there for a while because of how this thing is going, and that somebody is going to want to be into the program fully at 100%. And get the opportunity from it as well. Because again, it's more than just football. It's going to have to be more than just football if your program wants to see success, if you want to take this thing to the next level. So now more than ever, with all that being changed, life after football stays the same. You still must be prepared for that next phase. And now more than ever, you got to be more prepared now, because the selection process is going to start to differ.
So with a lot of those doors being closed now, because the roster spots is going from like 110 to...
I've heard going down to 110, 105, so you're still losing a lot, right?
Yeah, so do you think that, where do those players go now? The 10 guys from every school, is D2, D3 going to pick up? And
you're going to see a shift in that area as well. You're going to get more talent at the lower level institutions as well. But again, you know what I mean? That still requires, okay, now you're playing in a lower institution. Now you're playing here and there. Things look different. Resources look different. Experiences look different, right? We still must prepare for life after football, regardless of where we're at. We still must prepare for what it looks like when my time is up, because trust me, that's going to be the fastest 4 years of your life. And next thing you know, life is knocking on that door trying to figure out what's next. It's going to be some good and some bad to it, as always, when policies and procedures happen. The main thing is my advice to the student athletes is that now more than ever, you must recruit the school. Okay, because we're going to, and let's just face it, we're going to an NFL model. right? We're going to a model that resembles the NFL, that resembles more transaction than authenticity. I'll just say that, okay? Now more than ever, it's going to go back. The ball is going to be back in your court. What are you getting out of this experience, okay? Because I know that I'll get to a place, programs are going to be moving on from kids and players faster and faster now. Gone are the days to where, oh man, he's a 2-3 year developmental kid. We'll get him going by his junior year. No. Okay. So more than ever now, it's going to be about fit. More than ever now, it's going to be about knowledge and what you bring to the table. And more than ever now, you're going to have to make sure that you're attending a program that's bought into you from a holistical standpoint as a student and not just a number, because we're going to a model that's going to resemble that. It's going to be tougher. I even heard things, Daniel, I was in a meeting last week and I heard something about that we're going to have an additional spring now. There are going to be 2 spring balls now. So you're going to be able to have a spring ball in your regular segment and then potentially have 7 to 8 practices in June for another segment to check and see how your transfers that came in that May process look before they actually get in live bullets. So again, that looks different. How are you preparing for it? What are you trying to get out of the university? Because like I said, 3 to 4 years go by fast. Even if you do go to the NFL, you got to have something to fall back on. Make sure the university that you're attending is pouring just as much into you as you're getting ready to pour into them.
So we've really seen now the college game start to mold into the pro style in an on-field, off-field performance, data, everything. What do high school teams do now? Do they have to evolve? Do they have to move more towards a college world? What can they do to change what their day-to-day, their year, to help their high school athletes try to get to that next level?
Yes, I agree with you 100%. I think high schools have to start evolving their processes, plans, and procedures to mirror college institutions more than ever. You're going to have to get these guys ready to play at the next level, right? And play at a high level. And that's getting them used to processes and procedures that go on at that level. You're going to have to start analyzing, tracking players, controlling your from an institutional standpoint, making sure that the conduct issues and the conduct is intact on your team. Because if you got conduct issues on your high school team and you're not holding anybody accountable, there's no type of structure and procedure. When you send that kid off to that Power 5, that Tennessee or wherever they go, and like I said earlier in the podcast, the game is evolving. No more the 2 to 3 year developmental years. No more we're going to sit down and wait. No, you got to go. You got to be ready to go now, or we're moving on to the next guy. So that not only involves you being ready from an on the field standpoint, but that makes you have to be ready and involved from a structural standpoint. And that's high schools now are going to have to start adopting policy and procedure plans that mirror college athletics, tracking student athletes, finding out what they're good at, finding out what they need help in, identifying these things early on, and having their own player profiles to give to the high school coach and to give to the college recruiters and say, hey, look, this is who this guy is. He hadn't had any issues within our team. This is what he's done from a community service and leadership standpoint. He stands out on our team from this standpoint. We've done assessments with him. He's this type of leader. He has these type of strength quest assessments that align with your university and your policies. It's more so going to be transactional now. Just how NFL, when they make those trades and they're looking at the guys to see if they're the fit for the locker room, how quick he reacts to this, what is he doing off the field, who does he hang around, what type of crowd does he hang around, what type of community. I'm just being candid with you. What type of background? We look at all these things. Is he coming from, and none of this is deciding factors, but what's the foundational background at home? Now we need to analyze and record all that. You got to be able to speak on all those things now, because the way college recruiting is going is that if you have that data and you can report all those things, you're going to give your kids, your university, your institution and organization more looks from colleges and more opportunities for guys to get scholarships and picked up by colleges, because not only can they play, but they understand the program. I can inject this guy in my locker room now, and he's not going to turn my locker room or turn it cancerous, or he's going to fit right in and he's going to inject confidence in my locker room. He'll be a great addition to the team. It's not just going to be, oh, he can run and catch. Everybody can run and catch now. You know what I mean? Like, the athlete is evolving. Is this guy going to be good for my locker room, or is he going to come in and stir up some mess and get everybody talking about NIL? And now everybody's up in their arms and up in their feelings again. And now I've just lost my entire locker room within less than a semester because I interjected the wrong kid in there because I did not have the profile. I did not have I did not know exactly what he wanted. I could have found out a long time ago he didn't love football. But that's the reason why I think now more than ever, high schools are going to have to start adopting college policies, college technology, software, whatever the colleges are doing. If I'm a high school that's wanting to kind of win and get my kids ready for college, I better be doing what the colleges are doing.
Big time. It boils down to the one word, evolve.
Yes.
Got to constantly be evolving. Constantly. That's huge. Travis, man, I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your insights. Where can people find you at? Are you on Instagram, X?
Yep, I'm on all social media. Instagram, I'm Travis.Taylor, TN. On Instagram, and on X, I am Travel Trav Tennessee. So you can look me up on those sites, and we can stay in contact and things of that sort. I post a lot of things that we do inside of the program there for our student athletes. So you'll be able to see some of the stuff that Daniel and I have kind of put together over the past 2.5 years when it pertains to our athletes and what we've benefited from, all the way from career tours to academies and to onboarding academies. You'll be able to see it firsthand.
That's awesome. Folks, go check them out. Big thanks to Travis Taylor.
Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe to the Fan Day Nation. Don't miss out on any future episodes as we continue to go behind the scenes and explore the world of sports performance. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.